my people, good to see you all again. Welcome to HD. Of course you're watching in high definition, but that's not what this is. This is Hero's Diary. As always, the show that celebrates Black success. Our job is to bring them on here and let's document their story. Let's show their journey so that we all can learn from them. You can learn from them, I can learn from them, and we perhaps can all be like them, especially for our younger generations. My name is Kenilola. Welcome to the show today. I'm particularly excited about today. Really, I am. And the reason is because it is more of what I believe is a student-master situation. This lady, this princess, she was there when I kind of started my journey in broadcast, media and all that. She was a part of the whole journey, but today I am sat with her and we are going to talk as colleagues. I have come a long way, she's come a long way. I'm not going to take too much of your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Princess Moradeun Adedoyin Sholari. What's up, Princess Deun? How are you, ma'am?
I'm cool, I'm collected, I'm calm, and I'm just grateful to be here.
Yes, you are. Obviously, I've just said it now, Princess. It's a student-master situation. Don't you just agree with that?
Not quite.
Why not?
Well, the student has become a master.
Oh, no. The student is still trying to reach the promised land. But I mean, you are a super star veteran. I don't know whatever words I could bring on to describe.
I'm just trying to look for who you're talking
No,
about.
I'm talking to you. You can look all around. You see no one but yourself. Really. Over 40 years. I have never been on this show like this with a hat and all the everything. I say, today is a royalty situation. Let me bring on the swagger. You know that I mean? Like, bring it on today. Princess, this is all for you. Look at me.
You did so well.
How do I look?
When I came in, I said, who's this looking like the Prince of Zamunda?
Hey, Zamunda.
It's my Kenny.
Yes, that's because
wonderful.
I just tried
amazing.
I tried to lick the prince look today because we've got a princess. And
Thank you.
You always make it known that you are a real princess.
Absolutely.
What does that mean, being a real princess?
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me on Hero's Diary.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I'm super excited. Very delighted indeed. It's a cherished pleasure to be here. Thank you to your crew. What does it mean to be a real princess? Because I am a direct granddaughter of a Nigerian monarch, a Yoruba monarch.
Right.
So I have, so to speak, blue blood running in my veins. Not that when you cut me, I'm going to bleed blue, but as the saying goes. So I'm from a line of royals, my father's side. We're from the kingdom of Remo, southwestern Nigeria. And Remo kingdom actually comes from Ile-Ife. So there's somewhere in Ile-Ife called Iremo quarters. So my forebears, my ancestors, they traveled from there to settle where we now have Remo Kingdom, which has over 33 towns under it. So it's actually a huge kingdom. And my grandfather, His Royal Majesty, Oba William Christopher, Adedoyin Anoko II, a Caribou of Remo Kingdom, was one of the Obas, kings in that kingdom. And hence,
what am I supposed to say when you're reading out this name? Am I supposed to say Kabies you?
Probably you should say
Kabies you. So, we got to show the respect as Africans. Please carry on.
So that is what makes me a real princess, an authentic one, because people do. They name their daughters princess. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's daughter is a princess, as far as I'm concerned. But when you look at princess in the real sense of it, daughter of a king or granddaughter or descendant of monarchs, then you are a real princess. And as my grandmother would say, being a royal doesn't mean you just put like a tiara on or put on your regalia and swagger around town. That's not what it's about. Royalty comes with responsibilities, and it's about leadership. And leadership is service to humanity, to your kingdom, to your community.
Right. So, as a princess, I mean, first of all, we watch Disney films, and then we're seeing all the princess Ariana and all this. How are the experience compared to each other from a typical Disney fairy world princess and what you actually experienced in Africa as a princess?
I love stories. I love fairy tales. So fairy tales are nice. They tickle our imagination and our brains, which is a good thing, especially for children and adults as well. But when you come to the brass tacks, being a princess in Africa, there are two sides. So being a princess back in ancient times, before advent of slavery, colonization, etc., it was a big deal to be a princess or a prince. It was a very big deal to be born into royalty. As I said, my grandmother, the queen, would let us know that it's not about gallivanting around town. Oh yeah, I'm a princess, and so what? What are you bringing to the table? So you're supposed to keep the legacy of your ancestors, and also pass it on to the generation coming, i.e. your children or your nieces and nephews, and also the community of royals. So you've got a job, and people are watching. The elders are watching you.
Yeah.
So if you step out of line, you get told off, and you get put in your place. So for me, when I was growing up, I had that drummed into my head very, very much. I was here as a young girl, as a baby, and then a young girl, when my parents were studying here in the 50s, 60s. And I was the only African child in my school.
Right.
And therefore, because I had been raised, and back then they had these things called people being fostered out to foster parents, so that their parents can either go to work or go to school. Yeah. In my case, my nanny had to come and live with us. Well, the palace...
Royal privilege.
She did, Mrs. Slowly, bless her soul, she lived with us. And so, and she knew who she had already been briefed by my parents and all that, so she knew who I was and all, even though I was a child. But back then in the 60s, there was racism, kids didn't know what they were doing, and I used to get a lot of flack, just being the odd kid in the school. And I would go home, or whenever she came to pick me up, I would be crying, they want to see my tail, they want to touch my hair, and she would say, Moradeun, you are a princess. I said, yes, but they don't understand that. So one day she actually told the headmistress, Mrs. Ravenscroft, she told her that this is who this young child is.
Yeah. The princess from Africa.
And they need to just treat her nicely. They don't have to treat her differently and all that. But she's not used to being, poked at. She's not used to being, because back, you don't do that to people. I mean, kids everywhere, kids can be mean, but you don't need to do that to each other. And from that time, I think the headmistress obviously talked to the whole lot of us, myself inclusive, and how we needed to behave ourselves and respect each other and stuff. This was in the 60s.
In the 60s, yeah.
I went to Rathbone School in South London. And I think one or two of the kids from school are still my friends today.
Wow.
From way back then.
You've seen things like Coming to America and all that, and you mentioned that I look like a prince of Zamunda. And that kind of princely, or in your case, princessly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Princessly. Yeah, we got to come up with that.
Okay.
Did you experience any sort of abnormal, over normal sort of treatment like we had with Akeem in because you're speaking specifically about back in the day, 60s, 70s. Was it like that, being a royal? Did you get this kind of over special treatment? Because
I was a child, so, I just did kid stuff. But when I started growing older, when we were back to Nigeria, of course, I mean, the drums would come out when we step out of the car. We get to Remo Kingdom. Because people knew that we had arrived, and they will have not petals, but the drumming was there. People were dancing. Then, rather than then this kind of cloth, they spread on the floor, and you're supposed to drop money.
Oops, okay.
So that happened, and that still happens, when I go home.
Yeah.
That still happens.
Wow. So, like being a princess in Africa, and then, for example, in the UK now, with the late Queen, her soul rest in peace, growing up, obviously, she was a princess, but even as a princess, she was in line to be the Queen of England.
She wasn't until something happened.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, what I'm trying to point out is the fact that as a princess, she went on to be the Queen of England.
Absolutely.
As a princess in an African kingdom,
Yoruba.
Where are you going? Where are you? What? Where can you
where,
one day be
where I'm
the...
at? Well, right now, I didn't bring my staff of office here because I just thought that would be...
Oh, no. My
top.
question specifically is just like she, even though she's a woman in England, can become the Queen of England.
Yes.
What is the highest aspiration you can attain to as a princess in an African or Yoruba kingdom?
We actually have female monarchs.
Okay.
I have some of them that are actually my friends from South Africa, Angola, a few in Nigeria.
Moremi, Queen Amina, and all them.
No. Present day, I'm talking about 2023.
Okay.
And Ghana. So we do have people who are female and are monarchs. Because there are some kingdoms that still keep that. Because back in the day, it was male and female that were kings. I don't know which man came up with the idea of, let's just edge the women out. Something like that must have happened. That's my thinking. And then suddenly a lot of kingdoms just have male, But remember that there's also a woman. Let's talk about Yoruba kingdom now.
Yeah, okay.
That's called, there are two very key women. There's one called Irelu, as the title. There's another one called Yalode.
Yeah.
Without these two women, a king will be a puppet.
But they're not kings, though. They're kind of like...
But their role, they're queen mothers. They're like Iyaoba. They're queen mothers. They have very specific roles, very, very specific roles, traditionally and culturally. And the king, even when you watch some of the Nollywood movies, and you hear them sitting in front of the palace, and you'll hear things like, we can't do anything because Irelu's not here yet, or Yalode hasn't arrived. Because they are the ones that will say yay or nay for any decision that the kingdom will make. Before the Western world came to Africa, we had everything in place, historically, fact. Everything in place when it came to governance, leadership, and structure. Everybody had their portfolio. So you had your ministry mapped out. So the Balogun was the generalissimo. He was in charge of the Ministry of Defense, etc. And there were 7 key chiefs under the king. And 2 of those chiefs were female. One is Yalode, one is Irelu, as I said. And without these
those are fixed roles.
Without these 2 women, and mostly, especially the Irelu, are usually from royal lineage. So just, mostly, I'm not talking about, because when it comes to Irelu, you have honorary Irelus these days, and then you have the traditional ones, Irelus, So honorary ones are, they just honor them maybe for the role they've played in the community.
What
or
about
the
like
kingdom.
the Iyalojas? Those ones were
Iyalojas, that's a minister of commerce, because women were in charge of IJ, which is, trade and commerce. Economics, So women still have a very, very pivotal role when it comes to governance and kingdom and looking after the entire citizenship.
Yeah, I'm glad we're touching on that now, because that it's something that, because when they talk about women's rights and equality and stuff like that, Africa tends to be looked down upon because they think we don't give women opportunities and all that. But you saying this now, even back from when
women's rights,
pre-colonial, before all that, so women have been very involved in governance and
Absolutely. Without Yoruba, we say, be a bafi to be shame shele.
Come again.
If you do not take heed of the presence and the importance of a woman, nothing can be done. The woman, the man was the head. That is how it was looked at in Yoruba land and Africa. And the woman was the neck. So it's wherever I turn you, as the neck. And that is why there was a beautiful relationship, a synergy between the man of the house and the woman of the house. Even when most of us were growing up, you ask your father, "Oh, Daddy, can I have this? Have you spoken to your mother? Oh, let me ask your mother about it. Oh, when your mother comes back, we'll discuss." That was it, because he knew that she was the one that navigated everything in the household. So the role of women is very important. Apart from that, you mentioned something about women's rights.
Yeah.
We didn't need that. We were born with rights first as human beings.
Right.
And we knew that in Africa. We knew that in Yoruba land, that women were born with their rights. We didn't have to fight for any rights. There was no placard carrying. That was why Madam Funlayo Ransom Kuti was infuriated. It was like, what's this? Because it was strange. She was already doing things with her women, during the Egbab time, way before America knew anything about suffrages or UK knew anything about women's. We didn't need that.
But they could say women's rights was not necessarily about women's inherent right, but the right for women to do certain things which traditionally was not in a woman's
There was
position.
nothing that women,
like maybe in like jobs.
Nothing that women didn't do traditionally. History has been tweaked. That's why I say we need to be very careful the narrative that we embrace and swallow. Because first of all, I'm a granddaughter of a king, so I sat a lot at my father's feet, the late prince, and I learned a lot. Sat with my grandmother, learned a lot. At that time, I didn't even know I was going to become a broadcast journalist, but I just used to ask a lot of questions because I had this very probing mind, and I was wondering why. And when you lived in both cultures, so I had that opportunity and blessing to have straddled the Western world and Africa, i.e. Nigeria. So if I saw anything that didn't kind of add up, I wanted to ask questions. And I got the answers, and that's how I got to know that a lot of history had been manipulated, had been changed. But when you do become what I've become, which is I'm a cultural ambassador, I'm a custodian of our rights, our traditional rights and our culture, you need to continue to do your research and make sure that you do the research across board so that you are getting the actual nitty-gritty, the truth itself. And I have been very blessed, I'm very privileged to have that, even in my travels across Africa, because I have an organization called the New Pan-African Movement, as you know, and under that we have what we also call the League of Pan-African Royals. So I have my connection with and big network with a number of African royals, because I was pondering, what is it like, apart from Yoruba land, what is it like with the Igbos, with the Hausas, with the Congolese, Angolans? So in my travels over the years, I've met a lot of, royals, male, female, spoken with them, talked to them, and I realized that we're so similar. So the languages might be different, but when it comes to the culture, the tradition, we're absolutely similar. And therefore, if all of these people are saying the same thing, pointing to the same place, then what happened to our history? Somebody came to change the narrative. So we have to ensure that we go back to the real narrative.
And learn from it. Wow. I think that is obvious in today, how much we've sort of deviated from what was our original history. But I think for me, what's fascinating now is to know that even as Africans, we had so much reverence for women, for our women.
Absolutely.
And I think that's just so beautiful to know, because, like I said, it's just always this thought that we're women batterers.
Domestic violence was a taboo. The man will be put out of town, out of the kingdom, in the forest.
I mean, it was a taboo. In your time, and based on what you learned from your father and grandfather, what were some core privileges that women had, or protection, or things that women had then that perhaps we don't even enjoy these days? Are there any that you can think of?
There wasn't anything, maybe because it was just a natural thing, so it wasn't anything that we had to sit and write down. It just came
We didn't
naturally.
have to have conferences and
No, there was nothing like that.
and allocate rights to women or just
These days when I get invited to speak, I find I'm like, what is this about really? Why? Okay, you're carrying placards for what? First of all, you're a human being. You were born with rights. You might have your rights taken away, but you were inherently born with rights. Every human being was born with rights. The right to live, the right to breathe, the right to become what you want to become, the right to be happy. We're all entitled to that. That's not something you need to fight for or write petitions, carry placards. That is your right, yours, God-given. And I think because we didn't have maybe this thing about women's rights, empowerment, it became a fad. It became a fad. And sometimes there's also an agenda behind all these things. I'm involved in all of them from the UN and all this. So I know that sometimes there's an agenda, and that's why when I go to speak, I stand up very boldly when I'm like, you can talk about other people from other places. When you're talking about Africa, be very careful.
Very careful,
Particularly when you're talking about Nigeria or the Yoruba tribe, be very, very careful. Because I think I know a little bit about who I am and my history and from whence I came.
Hoops, what do you think about feminism?
What is that?
I don't know.
Feminism.
Just, I don't know.
You know why I said
that answers the question, doesn't it?
I said, what is that?
That answers the question,
different people will give you different
answers.
Analysis and descriptions. And for me, what is that? Does it mean, we can, because I can wear trousers like a man, that does not make me a man. Biologically, it doesn't make me a man. You understand? Within society, it doesn't make me a man. Men have their roles. Women have their roles. We're supposed to complement each other. And that's the way I see it. When people use feminism as a way to undermine men, maybe I'm old school, I don't know. But I just think, men have their place, and it needs to be respected. I'm very much about that. You need to respect that place and space. Because back in the day, the respect was reciprocal. The men respected the women, the women respected the men back. And when the women respect their men, the children now understand. And they also toe that line. But if we're saying, because we want to now practice feminism, quote unquote, and we decide to take the trousers off the man, put him out there naked, what is that about? And I'm saying that, in the proverbial way. Why would you do that? Because when you look around the world now, men, I believe, we do say that, yes, women tend to struggle, which is true in a way, work twice as harder, maybe 3 times as harder, depending on where you're from as a woman, before you can even stand side by side by men. But all you have to look is very clearly and study the various industries that we have, whether it's technology, inventions, innovations, anything to do with intellectual property, even when it comes to jobs like carpentry, farming, what have you, you will find women there doing their best, probably doing better than the men. It doesn't mean that they are better. It just means they can also be your equal. They can also surpass you. And it doesn't make the man lesser either. Because I've also seen men that are the best hairdressers in the world. My designer is a man. He's from Trinidad. He makes some of the most amazing outfits. Some of the best chefs are men. And, the list goes on. So I believe, the female and the male energy, we have what we bring to the table. And what is important for me is for us to ensure that the synergy is beautiful. Because if we could just do that, I think we'll probably have less wars. Because I think it's men that decide about wars.
They have too much energy.
To have wars.
You gotta start fighting all over the place.
So if we had more of women and that more of the feminine energy, because women are carers, they're nurturers, they're the ones that look after, they're the ones that train, they're the ones that bring up, and they're the ones that protect, mostly. If we had both working, in tandem, I think we'll probably be able to eradicate war.
That, yeah.
My other thing is, I think we need more women as well as leaders. Going back to what you said about female becoming kings or monarchs. Even in governance, more female prime ministers, more female presidents, because you'll see things will be different.
Why is that not happening in your country?
Well, there's a script I've written, and I've called it Madam President.
I know about that.
And I think very soon we should put that.
Yeah, because clearly, and this is why obviously we are getting the bad name, because if you look at, just like you've said in the past, based on our history and traditionally, there's a fair representation of women in governance. But that's not the case in today.
Who knows? Maybe women are shooting their own foot. That's another thing to look at.
Like in what way? What does that mean?
Well, I know for a fact that women tend to pull down other women.
Yeah.
There's petty jealousy.
Yeah.
There's envy, the pull her down syndrome.
Yeah.
It's there, whether we like it or not. It is there.
Yeah.
But if you can, men, they've got the boys club. It doesn't matter whether we boxed each other yesterday as men.
Yeah.
If we know that this table
has
got something for both of us to come and take, we will go in hand in hand as pals, because we know that let's take it so those females don't get to it.
They're going to get to it, yeah.
So I think we should flip the coin and females should start doing that.
I have a quick observation, which is completely away from what we're talking about.
Right.
I don't know if it's so completely away, but I think of it sometimes, and it's a bit silly, but I'll just say it anyway. You know when women go like, men are dogs, men cheat. All right, cool. Just let me land first. You know when they're saying that, I'm thinking
that's nasty.
That it is nasty, actually. Women keep saying men are bad, men are dogs, men are this, men are men are men are men are. But I'm like, men are not cheating on you with animals. Men are cheating on women with women. So why do you
sometimes with men?
Okay, that is
this is the world we live in.
That's another topic.
But is this the world we live in?
But let's just stick on the.
So they're cheating with other humans.
No. But majority of it, when women are saying men are dogs, men are this, it's because a man is cheating on her with another woman in a traditional sense.
I don't like.
So that's what I'm just thinking. Just for the sake of the argument, let's just leave that scenario for the sake of this argument that we're talking about other women. My thinking is just, why would they think of men as being the culprit? Women are the ones men are cheating on with. A man is cheating on you, a woman, with another woman. Okay. Why do you keep blaming the man?
First of all, thank you for that brilliant observation. First of all, my thinking is, what is this word cheat? What is it?
Okay.
As in, seriously, I look at it. What is it?
Essentially, they're saying.
What is it?
It's the.
No, I know what I'm just saying.
This is going to take us into another.
No, I'm just saying. Why should you even say somebody's cheating? What does that even mean?
Because you have a sense of ownership.
Nobody owns anybody. Even your parents, when they give birth to you, the birth certificate says father's name, mother's name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They are in charge of your life because they need to help you grow, navigate your way until a certain age, depending on the country. Some countries age 16, age 18, age 21.
Yeah.
After that, you are independent of your parents, legally.
Legally, yeah.
They don't have any right over you.
That's right.
So because I've now gone and gotten married to somebody, and that's why I love tradition. I love tradition.
Yeah, I hope you speak from a traditional perspective.
So when you go and get married, the people that did the Marriage Act were men. And when they put it together, sadly, they didn't know they were shooting themselves.
In the foot.
In fact, in the rear end, I think. Because it was about controlling women. That was the thinking. And then, of course, the tables turned. Why would you go and sign a piece of paper because you want to live your life, or the rest of your life, as it's so-called, with another human person? Why must you put paper to pen for that? Were you there when the father and the mother slept with each other and got pregnant and had the child, either male or female? What gives you that right to own somebody else?
Somebody else.
For me, that's another type of slavery. Why would you own somebody?
But you could be saying that it's because we have both entered into this agreement to unify.
Fine.
Yeah.
Why can't we
Why
can't we just say and agree without writing any silly paper? What is a paper anyway?
Okay.
Seriously, it's as good as what is written on it. And that is why sometimes when you say, don't do this and don't do that, and now you've written and you've signed, that is the real time that I would want to go do
there
it.
and know what's up. That's true.
So it's just like when we say the good creator, our mighty creator, has given us some laws. Thou shalt not, according to the Christian, you mustn't do this, you mustn't do that. Most of those laws we break on a daily basis.
That's why you want to break the first.
On a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I think it's to do with the mindset. How do we think as human beings? First and foremost, if you don't want... First, I am of the belief, I know some women might nail me to the wall, I'm of the belief that men are natural hunters.
Okay, now.
They're natural hunters. That is the makeup of men. Right? Women are very emotive, we're emotional. Men
my wife is watching.
No, but seriously, men are very pragmatic.
I'm going to be in trouble to
straight to the point. And sometimes men is like, my late father, bless his soul.
Yeah.
When I was also young, and I used to ask, Dad, why do men have other women? Why can't they just stick with the wife that they have? Da, 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 da. My father said, small girl. Yes, Daddy, sit down. Men were created by the mighty creator as they are. They have the ability to love more than one woman at the same time. Why? I shouldn't ask him, but he said, just look around the world, look back in history. That's just the way it is. I said, how about women? He said, women do it as well, but women have more of a conscience, and because women are emotional, we carry a lot of stuff in our hearts. We carry a lot of stuff. And therefore, sometimes it's, unless she's not really in love with the man, she just wants to stay with that man that she loves, that she wants to give her heart and her time and all that. And that's, so when that man strays, as it were, rather than cheat, when he strays, it's very hurtful for her, and the emotions come out and all that. But if the woman has it at the back of her head that, well, I don't own this human person. In any relationship, you fall in and out, in and out, in and out of love, whether you're together for 10 years, 30 years, 50 years, or more. It's normal. Sometimes you just don't want to talk to each other because the human in you takes over. You just want your own space and you want to be in your own place. And if there's understanding, you give everybody gives each other their space. And then you fall back in love again. And then you do stuff that you'd like to do together.
Talking about space. I'm sorry we're drifting this into into relationship matters. But talking about space, what do you think about the idea of looking into each other's phone?
I don't think anybody should do that. I mean, with my husband, I never lock my phone.
Yeah.
My husband can pick up my phone and use it, But I personally, I would never pick my husband's phone. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying there's some things that, as human beings, you just don't do. My father says, what you don't know can never hurt you. Why go looking for hassle? Why? I wouldn't go looking through somebody's diary or somebody's phone.
Yeah.
I think women shouldn't do it. They'll be happier.
Yeah. I mean, it's a different thing not to do it, but you've said now that in your own situation, you don't lock your phones.
I don't.
Or you will not do it.
Never have,
never
will.
A lot of women, especially in these days, they would rather say that, not that he shouldn't look at it, but that they have a right to look into it, and they want to be looking into it.
What
as a
right?
sort of monitoring, as a sort of
What
restraint.
right? What right? When you say you have a right, what right?
Again, back to the contractual. We have a contract. We have an agreement. Then I have a right to own some.
So
sort of
marriage is now. It's a business transaction. The way you've just put it, we have a contractual. Is it a business transaction? It shouldn't be. I think they should scrap all this thing about signing papers when it comes to marriage, because it makes people take each other. Sorry about that. Is that what I said?
No.
It tends to we take each other for granted.
Yeah.
You know, and then we start thinking we have all these rights. What rights? You have rights to yourself and your life. Have you sorted out your life? Have you finished sorting out your life? We're all a work in progress.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. We fail every day. We learn every day. We get up, dust ourselves down, and continue. Learn from yesterday. Hopefully, we bring it in today so that we can navigate tomorrow. But I don't think, personally, I don't think women.
I mean, I don't.
It will make
I don't
life.
think so too,
it will just make life easier.
And
that doesn't mean men should then go ahead and misbehave.
Just leave our phone for us.
Don't misbehave. Men have fantasies. That's what men do.
Innit?
They're like little boys.
Talk to them. But anyway, no. So back to the question. Don't you think women should sort it out within women? Like women blame women rather than women blame men.
Okay, for this...
We are like monkeys. If you dangle a banana in front of a monkey, he's going to have it.
So, well, like you said, when a man...
So do you blame the monkey or you blame the guy who is throwing the banana?
When a man goes to another woman, there are a few things. If the woman is not in your circle, as in the circle of the girlfriend or the wife, that is good. So, like, go pitch your tent elsewhere. Don't come within the circle. You're breaking the circle code. Don't do that. So men that do that, that's silly. Because we hear of men that sleep with their wives' friends, and wives' sisters, wives' cousins. You know, I don't think, or neighbors. That shouldn't be done.
Yeah,
definitely, that's a no-no. And for women, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
But my husband would never ever go with another woman. Oh, he would. That's living in fool's paradise, because it can happen. I'm not saying it will happen.
It is happening.
It can happen, and when it happens, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
We have women that commit suicide, break the home, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So just get yourself prepared that this is life. Yeah. Stuff happens in life. So when stuff happens, am I ready? To deal with it accordingly?
So is that how our mothers, yourself, your mom, and all that, is that how they
the mothers will even bring wife for their husband? That, you know what, I'm getting on. I can't be doing all those styles again. You know, just leave my legs as they are. By the way, there's that lovely one lovely lady. I'll bring. That's how it was back in the day.
Oh dear, man.
You know,
we should turn back the hands of time. Anyway,
this is 2023. I don't think that's happening anymore.
It's not happening. Not these women. No. They will be struggling till they are 70.
And there are some religions, there's some faiths that they are entitled to have more than one wife.
Yeah.
You understand?
Well, I think that obviously that's a discussion that will never have a conclusion, especially in these days. I mean, I just wanted you to touch on that. I don't want to get into controversies and all that. But coming back to your royalty and all that. So you mentioned about coming to school, was it here in England and all, did you have any experiences, any major experiences back? Because you did mention like being the only one in an
that was in my primary school, my kindergarten and primary school.
Okay, you're pretty young.
That was in the 60s.
In the 60s. In the 60s and pretty young. Okay, that even makes it very interesting.
I was very
in
young.
the 60s and that young, being like the only African in an all-white school, were there any major sort of like racism experiences?
That's what I just said. Yes, we used to cry home.
Yeah.
And then my nanny.
What kind of things happened that will stick to you?
There's one I can never forget.
Yeah, go on.
Got to, I just noticed that anytime I want to go to the toilet, you would raise up your hand, miss. And these kids will run after me. Do you really have a tail? Can we see your tail? And after a while, it started to infuriate me. So one day, I had did a dump. And I said, do you really want to see my tail? Yes.
Touch it.
No. put her head in the WC and flushed it with my doo-doo. And of course she went, I then left, I went back to the class. Minutes later she came back, her face red, crying. And the teacher was like, what's the matter with you, Caroline? She said, hair. I'm like, what did I do? She pushed my face into the toilet, into her poo.
Wow.
The teacher said, did you do that? I'm like, well, ask her what she did first. So she couldn't tell the teacher what she did.
Yeah.
So I told the teacher, I said, this is what she did, and she's been doing it. Well, on the playground, they come and lift up my skirt, my uniform. It was terrible. It was terrible.
I hear those things. I mean,
that
I've never
happened to me.
experienced it.
That
I
happened
hear
to
it,
me.
but are they actually real?
That happened to me.
They're touching your hair.
Rathfarn
they're
School,
like,
Croydon, South East London, SE6, Catford. That happened to me. And so, obviously, parents had to be called in. And my parents had gone to university, so my nanny was the one with me, Mrs. Slowly, who lived with us. So she's the one that came to the school with me. And the mother of this particular Caroline had come and, what nonsense. And my nanny allowed her to rave and rant. And where are her parents? And she said, her parents are away in uni studying. I'm her nanny. I look after her. Your daughter has been doing this and this, because I'd been telling my nanny every time. And I'll say, that's the girl.
Your nanny is white.
Of course. And I'll be saying, that's the girl. I mean, there were other kids, but she was the ringleader, and she was like the school bully. And her mother was very shamefaced. I said, that's what your daughter has been doing to her. So obviously she got tired and fed up.
Wow.
She never did that again.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's move on a bit now from the royalty and talk about your broadcast career. I mean, you've been a broadcaster for what, over 40 years now?
September 1975.
48 years. Wow. Okay, yeah. I mean, when I did say at the beginning I was speaking to a veteran, a student versus master, now you see what I'm talking about. 48 years in the industry.
Yes. I started at the age of 17. Don't try to guess my age. And
well, you're not looking way more than 17.
It wasn't even something I planned. In my head, I wanted to become a pharmacist or a lawyer. In my royal family, we have so many lawyers. It's a legal family. My grandfather, the king, was studying to be a lawyer before. He was a legal clerk before he was called to become king. So law is a big thing in the Adedoyin royal family. So it was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. But during that summer of 1975, I would go to Television House. It wasn't NTA then, it was called NTV, Channel 10, Victoria Island. And there was a show called Youth Rendevu. It was hosted by the very legendary veteran, Patrick Oke, who then became my colleague. I think he was about a year old in the job then. It was produced by Digimon Lewis, Uncle Digimon Lewis, who was the Oloja of Oja. In Village Headmaster, he was the Oba, the king. So I had a friend. She was a few years older than me. I was just 16, just turned 17, I think. And she was in University of Ife studying medicine. But all of us would meet. It was a beautiful hangout, And we'll have this 1 hour show, poetry, dancing, quiz, all sorts. It was fun. And this particular day, we would record on a Thursday, and it would get shown on a Saturday morning. She didn't turn up. There were no mobile phones. She was writing exams. So the studio was waiting, and then the producer came, where is Dike? I'm like, I don't think she can come today, sir. Why? She's writing exams. Oh, she should have told us. She's got this poem that she's supposed to read. I said, she's not here, sir. He went in, came back again. You? I'm like, he said, yes, you. You're going to read it. I'm like, no. No. He said, well, we've heard you during some of the discussions in the past programs. We've heard your contributions. You have a nice speaking voice, I was dragged literally to the green room to rehearse this poem that she had titled curtsy, to be courteous, curtsy. And I was shaking like a leaf. Anyway, I tried my best. After the program, I legged it. Nobody could fight. I ran all the way back home. So on the Saturday morning, I was called by the gate man to say, Moradeun, somebody's looking for you from NT. I said, I think I've messed up big time. I thought they had come to tell me off. I didn't know what to think. I gingerly went outside, and there was Uncle Dejumoli. Iwo, what happened to you? I said, I had to come home, sir. Then he goes, well, I've got 2 envelopes. This one, because usually they will give you a voucher to say thank you. So nice. you get like artist fees. Back then it was about maybe like 60 naira, which was a lot of money, for a student. So he said, you're supposed to go up to the cashier's office, sign it, and get your money. I said, okay, sir, I'll come next week. And he said, that's another envelope. So I said, thank you. He said, open it. I opened it. They had invited me for an audition as a TV presenter.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Nice. I had 6 auditions.
Well, that's what...
NTV was in partnership with the BBC, with the Beeb, as we call it then.
Right.
The standards were very high. And guess who the DG was? Dr. Christopher Collady. Ambassador Christopher Collady. He was our DG, right? The GM was my late...
really top guys there.
My late uncle was the GM.
Veterans,
Ambassador Segun Olushola. The program director was Dinraji Dedidu. The news director was Alhaji Sakafagbo. The head of presentation was Ikenan Daguba of blessed memory. His assistant was Chief Julie Coker, who then became my TV mum, my TV boss, my mentor till today.
Right.
So everything that I learned in broadcasting, thanks to her, because at that time, you had to be 21 to be a civil servant. NTA is under the civil service. They didn't know that I was that young. So it was when I was filling out, I'd gotten a job, filling out the forms in admin. The admin man goes, what date is that? I says, my date of birth, sir. What? 1958? Hold on.
Oh, now everyone knows how old you are. You didn't want to tell them how old you are. Now
everybody knows my age.
Now everyone knows. Okay, cool.
No, I celebrate my birthday online. And then he calls her, you need to come to admin now. So Chief Julia comes down and she says, what's the matter? Have you seen this girl's age? So she looked, she said, okay. But we because I had been booked for training and all that, she said, but we really want her. He said, well, you know how admin people can be. He said, I don't want any trouble, because I was a minor. At that time, I was seen as a minor.
75.
I was a minor.
Yeah.
That was when Gawan was the head of state.
But that's 17 years? Thereabout?
I was 17.
Yeah.
So I had to call my dad. My dad had to give his consent, and he had to literally hand me over. Tradition was still tradition. He had to hand me over to Chief Julie Coker. So she became my TV mum. And that was it. And she was so kind, and we're still very close till today. When she turned 70 some years ago, I was very much in charge of putting the birthday together for her. We're very close. She's an amazing woman. I think we need more people. They don't make them like that anymore. We need more women like that. I have learned from her, and that's how I have also carried on in my career, trying to also mentor younger people, encourage younger people, and protect younger people, which I did when I was rising up in my career in television in Nigeria. She safeguarded me from the wolves, as it were, because there were men that would prey on young girls.
Yeah.
That was it.
Did you have any such experience?
Of course I did. And I would call her. She would march me to the person's office. You want me to call Prince Ade doing for you? I will call her father now, and you lose your job. I think after about 1 or 2 incidences, everybody... Go there, that one.
Yeah, it's out of touch.
So bless her, bless her. I think she's in Nigeria now on Christmas holiday. But she really did well, with me. Not only me, I mean, my other colleagues, but in particular. And we have kept that relationship till today. We've kept that relationship. I had to obviously go through different courses. There's something called the Language Laboratory.
Right.
So we did that. It was in partnership with NBC, so we were called NBC TV. And it's called the Language Laboratory. So that was the school that you went to. It was for like 3 months before you are ever able to look at a microphone. You had to sit in, research, write scripts, listen to the seniors, watch the news, watch how they made announcements. Just sit and watch telly from morning to night and write.
It's not just go buy a microphone and do podcast.
No, and it was seriously, it was serious.
Podcast, just go buy a microphone, just do that.
And she was the first person to let me understand the real meaning of diva.
Yeah.
When I'd started work, I'd finished my training then, and I'd come back to TV House, to start sitting in. Sitting in is like observing. You just sit. You sit with whoever's on duty
for a while before getting
and then
your chance.
She said, Moradeun, I said, yes, ma. She said, go outside the gate. So from the office, she could actually look at you. You could see the gate.
Yeah.
Go down the stairs, go outside the gate. When you get there, drop any diva attitude that you have
At the gate.
and then
come
back to the office. So when I came, I said, excuse me, sir, ma, what is diva attitude? I didn't know what that was. She said, without the audience, there is no you. Learn that from now on. Without an audience, there is no you. So it's the audience that would give you and build you into the star that you want to become.
But how is it ironical these days that it's the diva attitude that gets you the audience?
It isn't. Those audiences are
fake. It appears
they're
like
fake. If given on a good day, behind the keyboards, you'll be amazed what they will type about the person. And we see that daily. We see that. But that she taught me. She taught me humility. She taught me how to stay in my lane. She taught me how to drink water and mind my business. Those are, because there are many things. It's a different world.
Water and mind your
yes,
business.
means just keep your nose out of other people's business. Do the job. That's what you're employed for. Do your job. Do it properly. Don't get involved in office politics and all that shenanigans. Don't do that. So it was a very disciplined environment. Yeah. I was the baby. I was the baby, the entire baby of, can you imagine, both television, radio. I was the baby. I learned how to make tea. I knew how everybody's tea was, what kind of coffee they liked, So it taught you humility. It taught you service as well. Yeah. You need to know how to serve. Yeah. It was like a family, so everybody looked after me. I was everybody's pet. Senior or Brown, she used to do my hair, Everybody looked after me. It was just a beautiful family that I miss. I really wish there was still something like that around. Yeah. And people will step in to help you, to support you, to advise you. It was just wonderful back then in the 70s and into the 80s. And then I went to study journalism. Then I came to England again, and I went to Westminster to do my degree in creative arts and communication arts. And that's how I got introduced into IT, which I love. I'm like, wow, I didn't know this world existed. I think without information technology or the internet, AI, life would be boring.
Yeah. So you saw from where you started and all that to where you are now. You saw the progression and the transition.
The analog. I was from the analog
to the digital age.
Into the digital.
I mean, how did that impact on your career and generally?
I think I gained from both ends. There's some things that I learned during the analog era that I still hold on to. Things like doing my research, sitting down to write my script. I still write scripts. Yeah. Even when I'm going to go on the show, I still write my script. I might not use it, but the fact that I've written it, a lot of it I retain because I wrote it. That's part of the discipline. Also, research is very important so that you're not misjiving, or you're not talking out of context, or somebody's not going to especially now with the internet, somebody might say, hey, what you said is wrong.
That is wrong, yeah.
So you need to be very focused, do what you need to do, and make sure that you deliver properly. So But when it comes to the digital era, oh my goodness, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I love everything digital, everything.
Yeah.
I'm willing to learn.
Has it been easy transiting?
Not
or
to,
do you feel like old?
No,
You know, like this is new.
I'm hip. I'm a
Yeah.
hip girl.
Yeah.
I can.
You're on it.
I can fit anywhere, And
Yeah.
don't forget, I've got kids who are in their 40s,
Yeah.
30s, 20s. So I learn from them as well.
You got kids in 40s?
My son is 45. My first son.
Wow, boy.
I'm 65.
Woo.
So.
Okay. Cool. Wow. What's the secret?
I live a very stressless life. I made up my mind to do that. When you look at life, you're around you. My mom died at a very young age. She died at 58, 59, She wasn't up to 60. She would worry about the fly on the wall. She'd worry about the wind that blew. She worried about everything. And then she had high blood pressure, then an enlarged heart. So obviously, her health wasn't too good.
I mean, if you're 65...
I'm going to be 66 soon.
If you're going to be 66 and you actually look like this, then we should listen to you on some...
I'm not joking. I tell people, please live a very stressless life. Ladies,
how do you do that
ladies,
when you're surrounded by...
Don't chase your men about. Don't look at their phones. Don't care about where, don't. Why would you want to do that to yourself? Then you have wrinkles, you grow old, you're sad, you have a heartache, you have a headache, your health is...
Yeah, because
life is for living.
Yeah, because in this day and age with the millennials and the Gen Zs and all them
and the Gen X,
there just seem to be so much to worry about, and so many people are suffering from depression. So many people are suffering from mental health problems and stuff. How do you become stress-free when you're surrounded by so much obstacles and?
I think it's about one's perception. It's your, I believe in, we are the architects of our own lives. We are the architects of our own lives. Remember the artist Millie Jackson, making the best of a bad situation in anticipation of brighter days to come. Yesterday is gone. Today is here. Today might bring a better tomorrow. That's the way I look at life. What has been done, you cannot undo it. Why do I want to kill myself? Or put myself in a state of depression? We all walk, and I always say life is not perfect. We all sometimes have those wobbly moments, that we encounter stuff. Life sucks sometimes. But then my father would say, you must not sit where you fell. You need to get up, dust yourself down, put your foot forward and keep moving. Because you might still fall again. That's life.
Do you find that a lot of that traditional experience and upbringing that you have has played a large part in your ability to deal with life situations?
I think both. As I said, I straddle both cultures, both Western and traditional. So I think I've taken the best of both worlds. I fall, I fail.
Yeah.
You understand? I mess up. But what I try to do is better myself. One thing I've learned to do is if I do know that I've wronged somebody, I do not have a problem saying sorry.
Wow.
Whether it's somebody older than me, my mate, younger, a child, I would say sorry.
Why would you do that? Why do you have to say sorry when it's not your fault?
No, I said if I know that I've done something wrong.
Why would someone have to say sorry to another person?
If I've done something wrong.
What, do you say sorry if you haven't,
If I've done something wrong, I will definitely say sorry. If it comes, even if it's something I didn't know and then it's brought to my attention. Yeah. Oh, with all humility, I would apologize. Okay. If for any reason I feel, you know what, saying sorry is just going to allow peace to reign, I will still say sorry. Yeah. Makes life easier.
Makes life easier, isn't it?
I don't want to go to bed with stuff in my head. I want to go to bed. I want to snore. I want to fart. I want to do whatever I like on my bed. I just want to. I just want to be a girl who loves life.
A girl at 65.
Yes, I'm a girl.
Come on,
I'm a
girl.
Yeah.
All right, that works. But what would you say are the highlights of your broadcast career? Are there any particular things that you would say?
Many. So many. Now, which one would I choose? During Festac, I was the youngest presenter, TV presenter. That's
a festival of arts and
culture in 1977.
Hosted by Nigeria. So
Definitely.
essentially, that festival was bringing in the
was
world.
28 days of awesomeness.
Okay, bringing in the world.
Sadly, Nigeria didn't understand what broadcast rights were at the time.
Okay.
We didn't understand how to protect our intellectual property. We gave everything away for 28 days. And that's just the broadcast side. I'm not even talking about flying in everybody. We flew everybody in, housed them, clothed them, fed them, transported them. The presidents and prime ministers that came, we gave them the 3-seater Mercedes-Benzes that brought them in. Nigeria had oil money. I was in that era of
oil money.
I believed that my country was the best country in the world. And it was at that time.
Yeah.
It was the best country in the world. Bigger than Britain, bigger than America, bigger than everywhere.
Who was president then?
The head of state, it was a military head of state, was General Yakubu Gowon. Amazing man. He's the only head of state that's alive that would walk out of his car and walk on the streets with no security, with his wife.
Yeah.
He was an amazing man. And he, like my grandfather became a king at age 29, he became head of state at age 29.
29?
He was 29,
Wow.
bachelor.
Wow. As a military though?
Yeah, but I mean, he was 29.
Yeah.
And he ruled Nigeria very well because he never put military in charge. He put the civilians in charge.
Yeah.
And what he would say was, we are to protect and defend the country. Yeah. The civil servants, the civilians, they are the ones that know how to run the country. And I think that's when he got into trouble with his colleagues. And
what other highlights?
Because that was when I met two amazing people. Mr. Francisco Slinger, who we all know as Mighty Sparrow, from Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. He was one of the artists that came to Nigeria at the time. And one of my adopted mothers, the late, legendary African songbird, Dr. Miriam Makeba.
Oops.
And she was my friend till she passed. I used to go to South Africa, spend time with her.
Is that where you got his inspiration? Because there's a bit of South Africanness
in
your...
those are actually one of those hats.
In your vibes.
I have two. One of them is a gift from her.
Yeah? Because you always done, I say in a lot of events.
Yes, it's actually tribute to her.
Yeah?
She was an amazing woman. She lived in Nigeria for a bit. A lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah?
She lived in Nigeria, so she was wonderful. She was like another Chief Julie Coker. You know, I had these beautiful women in my life.
Yeah.
And that was a highlight for me. I learned a lot. I think all this thing about taking life easy, not worrying, I picked up from these women, and it was amazing. Yeah. So that was a highlight, you know, for me. Good. And then becoming, at another, I think I was 18, 19. I was the first lady of the film, The Rise and Fall of Dr. Oyenusi. Right. Wait. What film? That was Eddie Boomer's film, the big film about that armed robber, Ishola Oyenusi.
Yeah. I think I saw that one.
So I was the first lady, the leading lady rather. I was the leading lady, and that was amazing as well. I think it was shot in 1976. Okay. I wasn't born then, so I didn't know too much about it. Just trying to know that. Yeah, but that was also good.
Okay, cool. Let's just move on quickly because my producers are giving me signs now. But there's two things more that we have to touch on quickly. Okay. So you've got this beautiful. What do you call it? Veil. What do you call it in English? How do you call it? Veil or shawl? Shawl.
He said veil.
Shawl.
Shawl. Did you say veil?
I don't know, madam. I don't know.
Veil.
Forgive me. How do you call it?
Your wife needs to smack veil.
Is it not a veil?
No.
Shawl.
A veil is a covering.
So this is a shawl?
It's a shawl.
How do you spell shawl?
SHAWL. Shawl.
Shawl.
You know, like a drape.
Like a drape.
Yes.
Right. So on that it says Ashoebi
Festival.
Ashoebi Festival. So this is one of your big current projects. I would imagine.
Yeah.
What does Ashoebi mean, first of all?
Asho in Yoruba language means cloth.
Yeah.
Textile.
Yeah.
Fabric. Ebi means relatives, family. So Ashoebi is family cloth.
Yeah.
Family textile. That's what it means.
So what's the festival about?
Well,
because a sense of Ashoebi these days is going to parties and seeing everybody dressed in the same. It's very common in Nigeria, as we know.
It's kind of morphed into that.
Yeah.
It was part of our tradition and culture.
Yeah.
And when I did my research, because I'd done this research for a few years before I then, did the project in October, apparently, and I learned a lot from my father because I was always asking questions.
Yeah.
So Ashoebi then was for identity. So back in the olden days, there could be wars, tribal wars and all that, and people get scattered.
Yeah.
And the most people that got affected were women and children. So you would know when there's going to be a war. The town cry, we're going to deal with everybody.
Yeah.
And the first thing they do is put on their tunic. So on top of whatever they're wearing, there'll be a tunic that has been made from this fabric called ashoke, hand woven.
Yeah.
And then each family has their own totem or pattern or design, their own industrial design.
Logo.
So that's how, exactly. So that's how, this is from the Ogunlola's family. This is from the Adedoyin royal family. This from Keishi's family. Ezra's family. So you will know who they were. And then once the wars die down, the king will say, hello, all these foreigners, and you return them so they will know what town or what kingdom they're from. And they will, because the casualties were women and children, mostly, as you know, and they will return them back. So that it was for identity.
Wow. And that's where the Ashoebi thing
There's four things all tied together. So identity was part of it. Secondly, was when family had festivals, could be Yam Festival, all the traditional festivals, a wedding, a funeral, housewarming, naming ceremony, and then they'll say, what cloth are we going to wear? Within the family, there'll be somebody who probably trades in this or who manufactures it. Then they'll go to the person. If they don't have that person in their family, they'll go to whoever. But the family will now contribute money.
Yeah.
So I'm going somewhere with this. When they contribute money, it doesn't matter whether you contributed or not, because not everybody has, as you know. But the family, so the Ogunlola family will contribute money. They will count how many people need to be clothed. They'll get the clothes manufactured. They'll give everybody. When you all go out, you go out as a family. Ashoebi. Nobody knows, Princess didn't pay. She didn't have money.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Or Katie only paid half. Nobody's going to know.
Yeah.
Ezra paid for everybody. Nobody's going to know. It's just the family club. So that's for unity, social inclusion, you understand, family love, oneness of spirit. Okay. The third thing is also very important, and that is what I call, it's like a community interest. In other words, they were the people that did this manufacturing. Yeah. So they kept it going on, the manufacturing of the cloth, which is our own local textile industry, which is dying. I don't want it to die. Nobody makes this. The Chinese, they can't make this. They can copy it, but they can't make this. This is handmade. Handmade. You'll see them sit at the looms making it. So that's why it's original, it's authentic. And there was a gentleman that said Ashofi. He's correct. Because they call them Olofi, the people that actually weave it.
My stepmother does that.
So that's it. So it's Shoko. That's it. Yeah. And they are very, very talented, creative people. They come up with these most amazing designs. Now, the one I have on has a twist to it. So the ashoke was first made, woven, and then I asked for it to be made into tie and dye, to adire. And that's how we got the pattern and the writing. So it's a bringing together of two of our local textiles. So our industrial design needs to be looked after, needs to be protected, needs to be showcased and encouraged because it belongs to us. The Indians, they've done theirs. Gandhi was a weaver. A lot of people didn't know that. He was a weaver and he encourages people. Today, textile is a big industry for them. How about us?
Yeah.
So those three things for me. And then, of course, as I said, the social inclusion is very important. So nobody feels left out.
Left out. Wow. So what's the idea of the festival and how you getting on with that?
We had the first one on October 26th. It was the bomb diggity.
So did you? I wasn't present.
It was super lit.
Did you have people different? Everyone had
yes.
different,
Just go to www.ashwebifestival.co.uk. Knock yourselves out. The pictures, there's videos, there's also you've seen my Instagram. It was amazing. ashwebifestival.co.uk. So the brand itself is Ashwebi Festival International. That is the trademark. And then Ashwebi Festival Gala Night is what I did. Yeah. And then we also have awards, so people for best this, best that. I just want to encourage people to come and showcase the culture. And it's people from different parts of the world. So if you're from Congo and you have your own cloth, please come and showcase.
Is it an annual thing then?
Definitely. Yeah. They've invited me to come to Brazil, to do it in Brazil. Nice. Somebody's just reached out to us that they wanted to come and do it in the US. Oh, nice. So we're talking how to take the franchise, yes. That's beautiful. And definitely we're going to go do it in the motherland.
I think it's an amazing thing because Ashwebi is quite popular, especially young people these days. So there is a future for that. I mean,
we had quite a number of the millennials there as well.
Yeah, and the Gen Zs.
The Gen Z, they love to,
And they say the next one is Gen
X or something. No, they're the Alpha.
Gen Beta.
They're the Alpha generation.
Oh my God! Quickly. All right, quickly. Let's just touch quickly on your family situation. So you're married and
yes,
you've got children who are in your 40s.
Four children.
How's that family situation been?
It's beautiful. I think because of the kind of person I am. So my kids are my friends. Yeah. There's discipline when there needs to be discipline, but I think I've done my bit now. My last one just finished uni in Liverpool, and he's starting work in January. Wow. So I'm all done. Ooh. I have a boy, a girl, and a boy. Wow. So my son is 45. My daughter's going to be 40 in a few days, on Friday actually. The next one after her is 30, and then the baby is 25.
Wow. And you've been with your husband for how long?
I think we got married in 1992.
92.
We met each other in 85?
Like 86? 31 years?
We don't count.
Has he cheated on you in all that time?
So? No, so what?
I'm just asking.
But why should that even be? As I said, I don't use the word cheat. Has he strayed?
Has he strayed?
Yeah.
Like
probably
outside.
Probably. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It is what it is, isn't it? It is.
But that's not even a big deal.
All right, cool. We're gonna do this last thing and round up with. Right, you're a veteran. You've been there over 40 years, over 60 years in age, and all those kind of things. So there's no better person to advise our young people on how they can achieve their dreams. There's so many children all over Africa, all over these places, whose dream is to achieve anywhere close to what you have achieved in your life. Anything, a modicum of your success will be ideal, will be the grand idea or the prayers for them. Can you please? Oh my God, it's like 10 million cameras now. I don't even know. Just look at whichever one is. That's
I
your
think
camera.
it's Katie's camera.
I think it's that. All right, cool. So you're going to speak to that young child now and just tell them how you believe they can make this dream happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Millennial, Gen Z, Gen X, Alpha Gen, whoever you are out there as a young person and you're looking into going into media or broadcasting, film, television, music, acting, what have you. The creatives, it's a very energetic space. but it's also very challenging. So you're not coming in to think, oh, I'm just going to get in today and I'm going to make it today. You need to, first of all, be interested in the actual profession. So you're not just going, you must have a passion. You're not just going in because I want to become this star. You can be a star even behind the cameras. We have a lot of stars that are producers, directors, scriptwriters, makeup artists, the works. So first of all, have a passion for what you want to do and be committed to it. That's very important. Research about it, learn, read about people who are in that particular profession that you've chosen for yourself. Also, find somebody around you who can mentor you, who can show you the ropes, give you advice, Also, people forget you also have something called your peerage. There's peer mentorship. I had that. Peer mentor, so people that are you're the same peer, you are on the same kind of journey, but maybe you have different fields. So you learn from each other and you support each other. And my belief is that, the support that you get from your peers is actually very, very important. That's one. Number two, make sure that you're bringing something to the table. You are coming into this particular space because you have something to contribute. No matter how tiny it is, there's something. Be you a scriptwriter, a TV presenter, a show host, an actor, a producer, whatever it is that you decide, you're bringing something uniquely you. What is your USP? What are you bringing to the table? What's going to make you stand out? Because that's how you can achieve that dream that you want. And lastly, thirdly, also make sure that you spread your tentacles. Don't get too comfortable in a particular spot. Sometimes you might need to travel. Sometimes you might need to go to certain places that ordinarily you probably wouldn't want to go. But because of the goal, because of what you want to achieve, you make sacrifices. So that's also part of it. But most importantly, enjoy the ride. There's no point going into any profession or any career and just being miserable. Have fun. Skip. Laugh. Dance. Enjoy.
Woo! Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, my darling Royal Highness Princess Deun. I mean,
the name is Moradeun.
Moradeun, but you
Deun
go by
doesn't
Princess
mean
Deun. You go by Princess Deun.
No.
Is that like a stage name or?
No, Deun doesn't mean. My father used to be very upset. He
Yeah?
goes, small girl. Yes, daddy. What does Deun mean? He said exactly. It's a Yoruba name.
Moradeun.
Deun doesn't mean anything.
Moradeun.
Brilliant.
So
it's Moradeun.
Brilliant, Princess Moradeun. Thank you so very much. Like I said, it's a personal journey for me, learning from one of my masters. You know how we started. We didn't talk about the big search, which is where we met on the same.
That's how you were discovered.
Where I was discovered.
And I told you. Remember I told you.
Yeah. Because I got involved in this. Quickly, I got involved in this reality show, searching for the next big presenter. That was in 2009, 10, something like that. And that was where we met because you were one of the judges.
I told you. I said, you have got what it takes.
So, yeah.
It's now up to you
it's a full
to
cycle.
take it to the next level.
It's a full cycle.
And
Thank
you
you
did.
so very much for always being there, always supporting by the sidelines. Each time we meet everywhere, you're always there, always pushing me and always encouraging. I am personally deeply grateful to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your beautiful, amazing journey and experience with all of us, all the audiences and everyone. Everyone loves it. I'm sure they're going to pick
Team
one or two
HD.
things. Yeah, man. Serious
If I can
Diary.
call you that.
That's it. So we're going to round up now. You're just going to tell us quickly, tell people to join and support and subscribe and like and share and everything, man. And then we get out of here.
Hero's Diary. If you don't know about Hero's Diary, then you don't know anything.
Come on now.
Go and search for Hero's Diary.
Yeah.
All the handles, they're there.
Yeah.
Make sure you click, you like, you comment,
Yeah.
you follow, you recommend, and you keep following.
Yeah.
Hero's Diary.
That's
It's
it.
always smoking.
And most importantly, learn from the hero's journey. Thank you very much, everybody. It's been another amazing episode. Thank you for sticking by us, for supporting, for being there. Without you, we're nothing. Without us, we're... How do you say it? Without Yeah, you get the gist. You get the gist. We're nothing without each other. That's it. That kind of thing. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace out.